Before we start this video, I discovered something else interesting about these scripts. If you see the word me in the script, that is telling the script to only affect this one particular item that is placed on the track and not to affect other instances of the same item being placed on the track. That way, changes you make to one train will only affect that one particular train and not other trains that are somewhere else on the map. In a future video, I'll remove the word me to see what happens. In the past, we talked about how parameters go inside parentheses, and for the running number, the first digit you enter is the first digit in the running number. The second number is what goes behind the first digit in the lowest number it can select, and the third number you enter is what goes behind the first digit in the highest number it can select. So now I'm going to change these to see if it'll change what numbers will appear on the locomotive. Since it actually appears, we know there's nothing wrong with the script because, as we've already established, if there's something wrong with the script, then the game won't allow the train to appear. And it did in fact change the running numbers. Now in this test, I'm going to enter the same numbers but in a completely different format to see how the game treats that. For example, can the first number you enter be more than one digit and the second and third number be less than 3 digits? Let's figure that out right now. It looks like entering the numbers in a different format doesn't mess up how it appears in the game. And the numbers appear in the locomotive exactly the same. I think these numbers tell the game when to use the headlights and taillights and when to turn them off. For example, -1 tells the game to treat the train like it's derailed, and I'm guessing the game knows that when the train is derailed, the lights should be turned off. So I'm guessing if I switch these numbers around, it'll turn the lights off when they should be on and on when they should be off. So that's what I'm going to test next. I'm going to put -1 on the bottom, 3 on the top, and I'm going to swap 0 and 1. What I think that's going to do is it's going to tell the game to treat the train like it's derailed when it's on the track and on the track when it's derailed. So the lights are probably going to turn off when they're on the track, but turn on when they're derailed. So far so good. The train is on the track, yet the tail lights are off. You can still turn the headlights on manually because that's controlled by a completely different thing, but the marker lights that show up on the front aren't turning on. As expected, the ditch lights do not change when you change direction. They're still off because the game is still treating the train like it's derailed. And it is taught in the script to turn the lights off when you're treating it like it's derailed. So it's telling the train not to turn on its marker lights. Interestingly, when the train derailed, the headlights stayed on, but the taillights didn't come on. So I'm guessing it doesn't work exactly the way I think it does. In any case, this time I'm going to switch the numbers labeled as car front and car back with each other to see what will happen. What I'm hoping will happen is the tail lights will come on in the front of the train and the headlights will come on in the back. Okay, I don't think that part of the script works exactly the way I think it does, because even though I swapped the numbers for car front and car back with each other, the headlights are still showing up on the correct side of the train. Okay, that didn't work exactly how I expected. Swapping these numbers around doesn't really seem to change that much about how the lights work, so I'm guessing it's controlled by something entirely different in the script. Okay, in this part of the video, I'm going to walk you through the process of creating a texture library. Now, this picture that I labeled as default.png is what's going to appear by default when nothing is selected. To make the rest of the destinations, I must first consult the map of the entire system that I made. This area shows all the stops on the East Coast between New York City and Charleston, South Carolina. The yellow line is Bright Line, which runs a line that starts at Washington, D.C. and ends at the southernmost tip of Florida. To make the next texture, I copied the default one and then renamed the copy, as well as edit the copy to display something different. This is going to be for a line that starts at Washington, D.C. and ends at the Dry Tortugas Lighthouse in southern Florida. Of course, you have to rename the texture.txt file as well. You then have to edit the texture.txt file to use the new texture. This file that I'm about to create is a blank image file that is just going to be where I type all of the information that will go on the sign. I'm going to right click on that, open it, and open it in Paint. I'm then going to resize it to a space large enough to fit the information that I'm going to type. I'm going to make the background black. I found that makes the text stand out better. Now I'm going to enter some text that I want to appear on the sign, and to make it look like a destination sign, I downloaded a digital font. Now, when it comes to fonts, unfortunately, you have to be really careful that it isn't copyrighted, because like literally every other thing under the sun, you're constantly having to walk on eggshells and hope that the thing that you're using isn't copyrighted by someone. And of course, if it is, like everything else under the sun, if you don't have permission to use it, you could get in trouble for it. Right now I'm typing what will appear on the sign that's on the front and back of the train. These signs will display the direction the train is headed and the name of the last stop on the line. By the way, that should actually say southbound, but it took me way too long to notice into this video. Now, once I'm finished typing it, I try to highlight it. Sometimes it takes a few tries because of how hard it is to get the mouse situated correctly. And then I click copy. Then I open this file in Paint. Then I paste it here. Of course, I have to resize it a little bit to fit in the texture correctly. Now I'm going to type the name of the destination. If it doesn't fit, then I'll either have to type less symbols or change the size of the text. Now I'm copying that text and placing that in the texture file. I paste it in this file and then I start resizing it, which is kind of hard to do for something this small. At this point, I realize it's supposed to be southbound, not northbound, so I'm correcting that. Now I'm making the text for the destination signs that will appear on the outside of the train. Now, I changed the color of the background to match what appears on the interior destination signs. The information I'm typing now is going to be what's appearing on the interior destination sign. Oh no, you're doing it again! It's southbound, not northbound! By the way, in case you're wondering, there are going to be two stations for Miami. One of them is the Amtrak station and the other one is located in Miami Beach. Now, a bit of bad news. You're going to have to repeat this step for every single destination sign that you want to make for this list of textures. And it's a very time-consuming process. Now I'm telling the game what to call the textures. I plan on making more textures in the future, but this is just for testing. To test and see if it's working, I'm going to try to select the destination sign, the only one that I actually made for it. I wanted to test the train I'm actually making this destination sign for, but unfortunately that one's not ready to receive destination signs yet because I'm still trying to figure out how to script it properly. It looks like you can select it. Unfortunately, it's not going to appear correctly on this train because this train wasn't designed with this particular destination sign texture in mind. It's mapped specifically for my train. Well, that's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.